Sandra Pelly, the Sandini. You guys all know about Empowering the Healer Within. It's 8-day Meet My Guides. Day 8 is the money guide. Incredible, incredible guide to be meeting. And as we step into the energy of this, notice a beautiful cross that this branch made, the beautiful orange leaves. I was really struck by it when I saw it, and that's why I took this picture, because it just, again, when you see something that really brings an awareness to you, take a mind photograph of it. Take an image of it in your mind if you haven't got a camera with you, because it's something that's very powerful, and it's there for your awareness. It's there for your connection. It's there for you to truly understand how much support you are getting around you all the time. So stepping into, I align myself this day with my higher self for the highest good and the greatest good of all. There's just something about that. It's so powerful. So I wanted to talk a little bit about money first. When I looked up money in the dictionary, this is what it said. Something generally accepted as a medium of exchange, a measure of value, or a means of payment. It's also wealth reckoned in terms of money, monies or monies, depending on how you want to write that down, and a form of denomination of coin or paper money. What I find is interesting is when I first started to get into really developing a business, I often thought that I would love to trade services and really truly stepping into learning a lot more in that manner. And I would trade what I do and in trade for if someone did access bars and they wanted a Reiki session, we would trade a session. And what a beautiful way to have an exchange of energy. And that's what money is. It's an exchange of energy. Because money itself, it is just paper or coins. So one of the things I write in my morning pages every single day is show me the money. And I love writing show me the money, and I love being open with no expectations, no limitations, and being okay with the outcome after that, because you never know what type of things may unfold because of it. And I brought this up in one of our previous Zooms. And when I say show me the money, more often than not, my frequency is high enough now that money is starting to come in via, and it's being aware of those little things. Yes, some of them are obvious, like the rent is coming in from our renter, but also too, it's that person who books a session with me out of the blue. I had a beautiful lady book a Reiki session, or not a Reiki, the pineal chakra activation the other day. And just all of these little things that come to me because I'm actively asking for it. So I'm actively being pro money. And when I get to the bottom of this, I think you'll understand a little bit more about this. I also have spent many days writing I am money abundant in my morning pages, and really actively use this quite a bit during the process of the effort to sell our house. Our house is actually being rented. It failed to sell. And I don't know if the word failed is the right word, or if it's just waiting for a better time to sell. And I believe in the true guidance of that, of whatever it may be. However, what I did was I literally was writing I am money abundant in my morning pages, and more frequently than once or twice. And when I say that, I mean more frequently during that session of morning pages. I would sometimes write it 30, 40, 50 times, I am money abundant. That is the repetitive prayer. If you've heard of different cultures, just like you've heard me call in the East culture, the South culture, the West culture, and the North culture. There's so many different cultures out there. The North American culture is profoundly so much different than a lot of other ones, and we're very much of that English type of culture as well. But there are many people who are in our culture who totally get what I'm saying by this repetitive prayer, especially the Eastern cultures, such as possibly Japan, um, uh, the Spanish cultures, the Indian cultures, and these type of cultures who literally are sitting in prayer and praying for things repetitively. It's like the shamans of the olden days. They would ask somebody before they came to them to come for healing, that they literally do a prayer and they ask for this specific thing to be healed. But instead of asking once, they would be asked to ask for it for 140 times today, 140 times tomorrow. And they would have to do this for however many days in a row before they came to the shaman. And when they came to the shaman and asked for the healing at that time, they had already put in so many beautiful days of prayer asking for this to be healed. And that is the productive energy flow of creating something a much more positively. Just like I was showing you with the abundance guide and doing the 3 month, 6 month, and the year, living in the life of. It's that waking up and feeling into the energy of what you want your life to be like 3 months, 6 months, or a year from now, and going to sleep and feeling into the energy of that. I've been doing that actively, especially now, again, after working with you guys on the abundance guide. And it's been really remarkable watching what's unfolding in my life because of it, even in just the few short days that it's been since the abundance guide. So that also is the repetitive prayer. It's that feeling into the energy of this is what I want. This is what I want to feel when I'm at that 3 month stages. I want to feel incredibly happy. I want to be extremely happy with my husband. I want him to be happy, seeing the two of our faces in big grins. I want to feel the energy of being on a mountain bike and enjoying my life. I want to feel the energy of my spiritual business growing and evolving and becoming so much more. And I want to feel my relationship with my guides growing and expanding and having limitless possibilities. Like, it's just incredible. And with that, I'm doing that repetitive prayer every single morning and every single night. Hi.
You're back.
I'm back.
Okay, I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't hear anything or see anything.
That's okay, neither could I.
Okay, good.
Oh, bear with me here.
Sandra, you'll have to record again.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm going to have to share my screen again as well. So thank you guys for your patience. I'm babbling away and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm gone. What the heck happened there? Thank you so much for your patience. And record again too. Where did I leave off, Sharon? Can you hear me? Or Cynthia, do you want to tell me where I left off?
Yeah, you were talking about how you want to feel into like your relation, your incredible relationship, and your business growing and thriving and all that.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, so it's really important to also put in the work, okay? Money isn't going to come to you just because you want to have money. We have to put in the work. So it's like myself, and I'm using myself as an example, and by no means am I coming through wanting to put any pressure on anyone. That's why I use myself as an example. So for instance, I really know where I want to go with my business. I really know that it's not going to happen. And it's so interesting because I've become really super aware, especially when I hurt myself in July. I was having this incredible life. I was incredibly happy with my husband. We were traveling and we were mountain biking. However, my spiritual business had literally dropped off the face of the earth. So that's what I mean by putting in the work. My business is not going to grow. My money is not going to come in, and the money is not going to come in if I am putting in little work to get it to come in, right? We can't hope to win a lottery because the chances of that are very, very slim. So putting in the work. So what happened was my guide stopped me in my tracks and it had me take a look at what my life was. And that's one of those important things to understand, is when you're being stopped in your tracks, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, understand that these crisis moments are happening because we are having an incredible life and we have the ability to do something even more incredible, but we've reached this upper limit. And to go through that upper limit after that is the key. And that's the working through there to get to that next limit. There we go. No. Okay, I'm just muting. Could you please mute yourself, the lady or whomever's on the phone? They're beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so when I injured myself in July, that's when I realized that my business wasn't flourishing at all anymore. It had actually come to quite a standstill. So I started to do things. And by me saying that I started to do things, it wasn't that I went out and got a job. What I did was, for myself, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to get my business flowing. Yes, stepping stone jobs are a wonderful thing to do if you're in that process of shifting into doing what you want to do ultimately. What I did was I started to do Facebook Lives. I started to, get onto the different paid memberships that I'm on, and I started to put myself back out there and started to make that connection with people, as well as the group that I had going. I was started to be a little bit more actively involved with them. So putting in the work is really important. It's also why I did this 8-day guide challenge, is so that I can show people how I work. I can show people how easy it is to learn these tools of empowerment themselves, as well as have a place where you can speak freely, how asking questions, et cetera, et cetera. I'm hoping I'm fairly clear on that. It's putting in the work to get to where you want to be. So there are many different ways of putting in the work, okay? But you have to do something to get something, okay? And notice I've said two different things that you have to do here, is being money abundant, is that repetitive prayer, and putting in the work to get there. And there's a whole big long thing around all of this to getting into the job that you actually want to be in. And that's all stuff that I teach in my Empowering the Healer Within type of programs. Also being in a space of gratitude. I truly, you know what, it was so funny. I went to the hot tub yesterday because my legs were just toasted from doing so much biking in 3 days. And it was my second day off of biking. But I mean, even to bend over to get something off the ground, I was in a little bit of pain. So I went to the hot tub and stood just waist deep in it because I tend to overheat in the hot tub. And my legs felt so much better. Anyway, when the timer ended, and I put my hand on the railing, I said, thank you. There wasn't a soul around, but I personally said, thank you, because I was shown, first of all, that there was this hot tub there. I went there and I enjoyed that beautiful hot water. And I knew that when I came out of that, I was going to feel quite a bit better. So I gave gratitude, even though there's nobody there. And again, no, not a physical person there, I still gave gratitude. Okay. So really understanding, constantly giving gratitude is really super important. I also wanted to mention the relationship with money. Dee Wallace has this video on YouTube. I love Dee Wallace. This is about our relationship with money, and she's standing there and she's talking about our relationship with money, and she has this big handful of money and she tosses it out into the space in front of her, and it all just literally floats to the ground. And she goes, there's money, but look what is it doing? Is it getting up? Is it washing your laundry? Is it mowing the lawn? Is it cooking dinner? No, it's just laying there. So it's really understanding what our relationship is with money as well. Okay. And so when we talk about the relationship with money, what I really wanted to emphasize is it is starting to step away from that mentality or that limiting belief about lack, okay, that we're lacking in money. It's that shifting into the spending money as though we have money. Now, this is a very fine line that we have to be very aware of. There's foolish spending money like we have money, and then there's the more sensible spending of money. And it's a really fine line. And believe me, I'm so aware of what that fine line is right now because of where I am and my life right now. And we are on limited funds. So being very aware of the money, but also too, you know what, when I go into the grocery store, we buy what we want, not necessarily what we specifically need. Okay. So that's one of those things is really understanding. And in fact, this morning, remember how we did the health guide, and our health guide gave us specific things that we needed to do. For mine, the third thing that my health guide told me was about diet. And believe me, I will be very honest. Yesterday we went to one of the grocery stores and we bought a half a dozen donuts and a dozen cookies from the bakery. And I had a donut for breakfast. And as I'm sitting there eating, my guides literally popped in my head this sponge cake type of biscuit thing, and a pile of fruit with a tablespoon of whipping cream on it. And it was like, oh, okay. My diet doesn't necessarily mean that I have to quit eating things that I love, but that I can shift it to being a much healthier way to eat, rather than giving up on the sweets or whatever, eating more healthily. Okay. One of you has a potato chip. In fact, I think I have a potato chip fetish as well. And it's learning how to eat in a smaller amount rather than the bigger bags, and possibly buying the box with the little bags in it rather than buying the big bag of potato chips, so that when you eat a bag of potato chips, it's just those little bags. And yeah, just understanding what our relationship is with money and stepping into that. Before we go on, does anybody have any questions around this? No? No questions? Okay, very good. I'm just going to think here for a second. Just going to touch base with the guys and see if there's anything else they wanted you to know. Of course, all of these things I can talk at great length about. As a number of you know that I love to chat more in depth about these things. So this is all things, again, that we'll be covering on our calls in Empowering the Healer Within. Okay.
Sandra, I do have a question.
Okay.
It's not specifically about money. It's not specifically about money, but before we go into meditation,
Okay.
my weakness is.
Oh, Joyce.
Talking to me, or if it's just my imagination making
Exactly.
yeah, I have the same thing. Yeah.
I totally missed the question.
Oh.
I got
Okay.
just bear with me. I got kicked out of the thing entirely.
We saw that.
Are you comfortable repeating it?
Yes. You'll have to hit. Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah.
My question was, this doesn't specifically have to do with money, but I wanted to ask this before we go into this meditation.
Okay.
But my weakness seems to be, because I don't see or hear, it's just a kind of like a knowing.
Okay.
But I always feel like I'm making this up in the meditation, that I'm just, have a wild imagination. How is the best to handle that? You understand what I'm asking?
I totally do. Believe me, I totally do. Because I think every single one of us on here totally gets what you're saying, because we've totally walked in.
Yeah, Cynthia was saying she struggles with that as well.
Yeah. So the thing to understand is that our guides work through our imagination. Okay? That
Okay.
whatever that first image is that pops into our mind is our guides. There, in all honesty, as you do, this is what's okay. I'm super excited about this. This is where the importance of being involved in readings comes in, okay? And I say that, and I say that even if you choose not to voice what you've read when you're in a group doing readings, even if you choose not to do that, but you do a reading anyway, like say you're in the group and we ask for a reading on Cynthia, right? And even though you don't voice it, whatever you get, you actually hear her confirming those things because of what other people have gotten. It is that the other day, 3 of us in the group all saw this same incredible white light energy being. That's
Wow.
that, you know, that's a confirmation of of
Right.
connection, of people not making things up. Okay, it's really different if you're sitting there and you're not. I mean, it's really hard to describe those situations where, especially now, because I'm so immersed into this, that I truly believe it's divine guidance that's coming through. It's not imagination. I believe the word imagination is a human concept now. I really do. Okay. Also, too, it depends on where you are. If you're in your heart space, then these beautiful things coming in, to accept, trust, and believe them, right? If you are in a mindset of being in your ego at that moment because you're stressed, because you're angry or whatever, and you see things coming through in your mind, that is your ego talking. Okay. Yes, that's your imagination then in that case. Okay.
Okay.
So, whatever is coming through is your guides, because of the way we've set up the parameters of this, because we are in a beautiful sacred space, because we are actively stepping into being guided through this, and this whatever's coming up for you is truly, it's your guides working through you. It truly is. Okay. And accept,
Okay.
trusting, and believing. It's really starting to be very positive around that phrase: accept, trust, and believe. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sandra.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. That was a beautiful question. I really appreciate it as well. And I do apologize that I keep bouncing back and forth out of here, you guys. I keep going from my regular internet to T-Mobile, and apparently T-Mobile isn't all that great out here. So do know that it's going to keep fluctuating in, and if it fluctuates in and out, that I will still be here. The recording, ideally, I'm going to start to record it on this as well, maybe, and that way we definitely have a recording, a completed recording that you guys can hear at the end of this, if you end up getting bumped out. Okay. So if I get bumped off and I come back in after a bit, just continue with the meditation and just allow whatever energies to be flowing for you, through you, etc. Because we have set up this beautiful sacred space when we go into the meditation, and whatever I'm saying here is in the energies, is connected to you, and just go with the flow of whatever's happening for you on your end. Okay. And I wanted to tell you guys about this this cactus. I was really struck by this. This is when I did my 25-mile bike ride the other day. I saw this cactus, and then if you look at the bottom of it here, all these little tiny pieces. I love this. I was going to use it for the abundance meditation, but I thought it'd be really good for the money meditation as well. It's little pieces of the cactus that have come off and will truly grow, and either they'll get caught on an animal, or the wind will blow them, or whatever, and they'll start to go somewhere else and grow another cacti like this. And when I just rode past it about 2 feet and I looked back, behind this cactus was another big group of these as well. So just really feeling into the energy of the abundance when you look at this picture, the abundance of money, the abundance of incredible things happening with you. Okay. Beautiful. So I'm going to turn off my camera. And as I said, we'll just go with the flow. So taking a nice breath. And I'm going to actually be calling in the directions and the cultures and elements very strongly today, because I'm just feeling how all of these things are truly coming into play for us with the money meditation. So calling in the directions and elements and cultures of the east and the wind. The south and the fires. The west and water. The north and earth. And calling in everything within yourself. Calling in everything without yourself. That's being all this beautiful positive energy that's flowing all around you. Tapping into all of that energy. Making a connection with your higher self. Your little you. And feeling how there is this circle, almost like you're standing inside a well of bricks. Like feel how you are the water inside that well. Feel how you are this incredible energy, this flowing water that's inside this well. And as you're feeling the energy of that beautiful water and the flowing of it, and you're making this incredible connection because you too are water, get the sense of the richness of this water, the life that is in this water. This is living water with a very nice high frequency. And as this water that you are comes up to the walls, it's rising and rising and rising. Feel how you're rising up and flowing over the sides of this well. Feeling the flow of that water, flowing of the energy. And how you are positively affecting the living plants that are outside of this well. Giving them nourishment and moisture, hydration. And as this water that you are is flowing, it's flowing in a specific direction now. Down this beautiful crystal-lined gully. And it's flowing at a beautiful pace. And you can feel the magic of the shimmering crystals as you're floating and flowing. Being aware of the crystals that you're floating over, that you're flowing over and through. And as you go continually through this gully, it opens up into this space. And as it opens up into this space, you feel as though you're being hurtled out magically. And there in front of you to catch you is this beautiful guide. And however they're catching you, whether it's in these beautiful hands, whether it's in their beautiful wings, however your guide is catching you, or a beautiful container. And as you are bringing all the droplets of yourself together in this space that they're holding for you, feel how your guide is adding to the beautiful mixture of who you are. And as they're adding to the beautiful mixture of who you are, you can feel a limiting belief around money coming up. A specific age, an event, hmm. And as you are witnessing this event, be aware of how it made you feel when it occurred. How it makes you feel in your belly, possibly your throat and jaw. And letting go of that feeling, because all you were to do was to witness that. And as you were witnessing this event, recognize the characters that are there with you. And take a step back in time to just moments before. And as you're getting closer to that event's time, allowing that beautiful energy of it to shift slightly, to have a more productive outcome. That there's agreement rather than disagreement. That there's a way to work around this rather than have a fallout over this. It may feel as though those characters have stopped in their tracks because they're unsure even what to say. That's okay. Let that be. Now go back again in time to 15 minutes before this event. And as you approach this event again, feel how the energy of it has already changed. Feel how the characters in this event are working together. Even if they've never worked together before, just feel the energy of the possibility of them working together. And now go back 15 minutes before the event again. And as you're coming up to the event, feel the energy of everybody getting along. Feel the magic of that energy. Accept that. Trust that. Believe that. Feeling into the energy of flowing forward from that moment in time, from that beautiful event that has transpired now. Feel how you are moving forward with this beautiful money guide, and how small events in your life after that are energetically shifting. One where you're just a bit older. One even older now. You're coming to the end of your school years, feeling the energy, how it shifted even there. Accepting, trusting, believing. Coming into your true adulthood, feeling the energy of this new flow. Feeling that something is different in each of these events. Coming into those years when you are slightly older for some of us, but progressively getting to closer to the age that you currently are. Feel into small events that are changing slightly because of the rewriting of the energy of that first event. Accepting, trusting, believing. And your money guide is leading you into the future now. It's as though you're both flowing in this water down a wider gully of crystals. Feel the magic of that. And you're coming to this beautiful spot 3 years from now in the future. And as you come into this time, feel how happy you are. Feel the joy that's coming through all of your body. Possibly in the way it makes your hair stand up on your arms and legs. The feeling in the pit of your belly. Choosing to step into the excitement of that feeling. And having the sense of something there that is very indicative of money. It could be a money tree. It could be piles of money. It could be something totally different, but feel into the energy of something being there. And feel into the energy of how realistically it's so unimportant. That although it is there and it's absolutely beautiful, the feeling you have around it is one of acceptance. It's one of trusting and believing, that it's one of understanding your relationship with money has shifted. That you look upon this, whatever it has transpired to look like, that you look upon this just like you would look upon anything else that's incredible in your life. With the same joy. With the same sense of connection. That you are seeing it for what it is. Another level of connection, another sense of awareness. That you already have this. Accepting, trusting, believing. Take a look at who you are at this time 3 years from now. Get the impression of who you are. What are you feeling? Possibly even what are you wearing? And feel the energy of others around you if that's the case. And that there's this beautiful coexisting. You may know who these others are around you, or you may be unaware of who they are. But just feeling the beautiful connection. And again, seeing the beautiful image of how money wanted to be represented in that time. Visualize the shape. Be aware of that shape. Feel the beautiful healing energy that has come through with this beautiful flowing money guide. Feel free to ask your guide a question. And again, feel into the energy of this vision 3 years from now. Feel it in your bones. Feel it in your heart. Feel it on your face. Allow one more thing in this vision to unfold for yourself. Whatever pops in. This or something better. And now float and flow with this beautiful money guide again. Following this incredible Golly one more time as it comes full circle. Feeling the energy of that. Feeling how your money guide is showing you how it starts with you. Feel how your money guide is giving you the courage, the strength, the endurance to make the first step. In fact, you already have made the first step by rewriting the energy of that first event. You are on your way. Your money guide is giving you all of these tools to make the next step. Accepting, trusting, believing. Give thanks to your money guide. Give thanks to your higher self, your little you, and your physical body. Feeling the energy of how you have shifted in the many realms, dimensions, lifetimes, lifelines, all the ages, past, present, and future, beginning, middle, and end into infinity and beyond, down to a molecular DNA and RNA level, all the way back to your master body. And your energy guide, your money guide, is leaving you that image of 3 years from now again. And so it is. Wow. That was very intriguing. My internet's going unstable, so hopefully I don't bounce out. If I bounce out, I will be back because I'd love to have a chat about this. For me, I very much felt like the energy guide was actually water. Very interesting. And the event that I saw was really unclear at first. It was with my mom and dad, but I really wasn't sure what it was about until I went back the second time. And the second time I literally saw my dad really struggling with a pop-up travel trailer, the type that pop up. And I'll never forget that at all, because it was a very vivid image of me as a child. And I popped back a lot faster that time. Bear with me. What I was saying was the pop-up tent, and then when I came into it the next time, it was a motorhome, and I remember the motorhome. So it was really interesting to watch that energy shifting around that, and it really brought to mind my own travel trailer. We have a very small travel trailer, but the cost of this small travel trailer was every bit as much as a 23-footer kind of thing. So it was just really interesting to see how that concept of money worked for myself. And that image that I had at the end, excuse the background noise, the energy that I felt at the end was of this money tree. And my guides really wanted us to go back, our guides really wanted us to go back and look at this image of whatever we saw, each one of us, many times, so that we recognize that moment when we are in that moment 3 years from now, okay? So even though I saw a money tree, in all likelihood, I will see a tree that really resembles that moment, not necessarily one that has money hanging on it. So just so you're aware. I'm not going to go until the next time. So Claudine, I'll let you go first if you don't mind. You're unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. It was very interesting. I had a bad migraine when we started, and it's gone now. So
Beautiful.
that something major happened. So I guess a couple things. My guide came back to me again as the person in the caftan, Shamira-like caftan. I was walking over a diamond sand through this bright light. All of a sudden, many years ago, I found myself back in line at a carnival or running to a line at a carnival with a friend, and feeling like, why are we running? Why are we running? There's a line. We can get in line. We're going to get in line anyway. And the friend's like, no, come on, come on, come on, come on. So I'm going along and I'm running. And then you said something about, getting out of that moment and stepping out of it. And I reframed that moment. I think that's what you were
Yes.
asking me to do. And in my mind, I reframed that. And I said to myself, consciously, I think I said to myself, why did you feel like you had to run with the pack to the line that you knew was going to be there anyway? So in my reframing, I walked with my friends, or I left them. I can't quite figure it out.
Okay.
And I just walked to the line and waited in line. And how that relates to money is, I guess, this general urgency to run with it when I know in my mind that I shouldn't necessarily have to run with the pack, or maybe if there's a sale, get something.
I love that.
Even if something like you mentioned some food that you were eating. I happen to really like milk chocolate, so I have to stay away from anything that has milk chocolate, because that's one of those things that I run to with the pack, and it's not good for me. So I saw that, and then at the very end, when we were coming home, I saw that as a coming home or coming back to center. I was in a boat with a throttle, and it may have had an engine, but the engine was cut off. I cut it off. Someone cut it off. I don't know how to do that, so someone cut it off. And we were just floating. It was this beautiful, pristine. I remember it always takes me back to Calgary, and the Jasper Forest there.
Yes.
And I had a similar experience there. So it's a relive here. And beautiful, clear water and beautiful trees and mountains, and the sky was beautifully, marked with some white clouds, but mostly blue. And then you said, turn around and go home, or something. That's what I heard. And we turned around and we came up to this diamond beach that I saw in the desert the last time I met my guide. And my guide said, this is your home. This is where you begin. This is where you end. And it was, again, in a forest. And we were on the Finger Pier, and I was just sitting there not wanting to get out, but I had to pull the boat up. So I pulled the boat up, and then I looked up at this really cool cottage, which I've always wanted to either rent for a week or live in. And trees everywhere, greenery, animals, birds. I love birds. And then I opened my eyes because this headache was bothering me. I had to take some more chocolate. So, because chocolate helps with the dark chocolate can help with the headache. And so I looked around my apartment, and I'm like, I have birds. I have 2 actual trees, 9-foot tall trees. I have lots of plants. I have a painting of a water scene with sailboats on it, beautiful blue sky. So then the image was the money tree. And I said to myself, now you really don't need any more plants, Claudine. So then you said, no, Claudine, you don't need any plants. You can use an imagery of a plant and have an object be that imagery. So I have a piggy bank that my mom had. Never knew she had it. She must have had it since the 50s. We found it. Well, my brother found it when he was clearing out her house, and I have it on top of my refrigerator. It takes the whole room on top of the refrigerator, and so that will be my imagery. I will not need to go out and spend in a hurry, right after we end, money to buy a money tree. I'll use that piggy bank to remind me of money, my relationship with money. I don't have a lot, and what I end up having at the end of my bills, I try to save, but there are times when I go down that chocolate aisle, as a metaphor.
Yes. Yeah.
And as reality.
Yes.
Did I get that right? This is kind of new to me.
It's
So
beautiful. Really, whatever came up for you is what's coming up for you. And I love how you have felt that you were running with the pack to do things with your money. Beautiful. That's such a huge realization. And your understanding of it with regards to, you know, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right?
Ah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, I put those words into it, but you had implied that without using those words, right? Because you said the word sale. And those are our two most recent ones where those two sales come that had just passed.
I said the word sale. I don't even remember saying that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So beautiful. You did wonderful.
Thank you.
And by all means, the energy of this will continue to evolve. So just allowing whatever else comes up for you in the next week or so. Okay.
All right. And I also took lots of notes.
Good.
So I opened my eyes.
That's okay. I do the same thing. I go back and forth. I mean, when I'm in it with you guys doing this, I don't so much. But if I'm by myself doing meditations, then yes, I take lots of notes because otherwise it's impossible to remember it all. So, yeah. Thank you for sharing. Viorica?
Thank you.
There you go. Yep.
My money guide is Angel, and his name is George. And when I went back, I saw my mom, and I asked her for a toy. And she said, "No, I don't have any money. You have to work hard to get money." When I
Ah,
went second time, it was with my dad, and they got along that time because usually they don't. They don't. And the third time, they said, "Yeah, I can buy your toy, whatever you want." And I remember a friend of my family, and he told me, "You know what? Uh, the higher you are in a position in work, the less you have to work because you have bigger responsibility, but you don't have to work so hard like in the entry level." And when I saw the vision was a room full with money and gold coins
I love that.
and people around them, and I don't know, it was my family and another people. And I didn't get what it means, goalie.
What does it
They
mean?
said goalie goes around. I don't know.
I don't understand what you're saying. What are you saying? Say that again, because you gotta
You
get it.
said, yeah, you said something about a goalie. I don't know what it means.
Can someone clarify what she's saying? Go ahead, Claudine. I think you have to unmute yourself because I only hear the word.
A goalie in hockey?
Did I say
Like
goalie?
you have a goalie in hockey?
Yeah, you said goalie. I know what it means in hockey, but you said like goalie goes around. I couldn't make up my mind
Okay,
what it means.
I don't recall what I said at all, so my apologies.
Don't worry, it's okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure how I worded that in there with the reference. Did I just mean goal, like as in it's no, I didn't. Okay, I'm unsure. I really have no idea what I said there, so I'll go back and listen to it and clarify for you in the future. Yeah. So I think something really important came up for you during that. Two things came up that were really important to understand. One is you have the limiting belief likely that you have to work hard for your money.
Yeah.
Okay, that's number one. And number two is that the higher up you get in a position, the less amount of work you have to do to get more money. So there's two limiting beliefs that you're working with there. Okay. How to work around those is of course another day's topic, right? But at least you're aware of them now.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Sharon, how about yourself?
Well, I had a little bit of a headache too, and I had some noise going on in my house, so I was kind of distracted. But I did sense my money guide was a male, and as I was flowing down as the water, I felt like he kneeled down and was like lifting me up with his hands.
Okay.
And he took me back to an event that I had where I thought, you know, the money situation started. But then we went back even further to another event. And then after that, I felt like I was being asked to release all my limiting thought forms around money that was created by those events. Like there's just not ever enough, and like you know, having to work hard for money, and it's just a one big struggle, money.
Yes.
And so I let them all go down, floating them down the water until I could not see them any longer. And then we kind of like rewrote those events.
Yep.
Like changing the timeline, like some people no longer were involved in that event. They weren't even there, and
Beautiful.
making a much better outcome. And then as we go forward, the money tree, I still saw like this river of the water flowing, and the money tree was right beside it. Oh, and one more thing. When I was younger, if I didn't have money, just money would magically appear. Like I would find a 20 in my blue jeans, or that I'd totally forgotten about. It just always, money would just appear. And I guess due to these events and stuff, that kind of magic wasn't happening no more. So money was flowing down the river, just in all directions, money was flowing into my life.
I love that. Very, very powerful.
Thank you.
Very powerful. And I love how you recognized your thing there about the money was hard to get, or a struggle to have money. So that's
Right,
huge,
there was never
recognizing that.
enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Cynthia, how about yourself? You will have. Oh, there we
Hello?
go. You're
Okay.
unmuted. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. For me, the first image that came through, I had two come through from my younger years. One was when I think I had to be about 7, and I answered the phone one Saturday morning because my parents weren't home, and it was a bank calling to say that they wanted to talk to my father because they talk about a repossession of his car. And I remember, I don't know why I would have been home alone at that time, but I was. And I remember calling my grandpa because I was so afraid after I hung up. And,
I bet.
you know, well, there were many events that happened after that, you know, specific phone call, but I remember having a piggy bank when I was, you know, younger, and I remember getting my money together and counting it and stuff, and going to give it to my dad because I understood even at that age that, you know, that wasn't good, and it involved, you know, needing money because he was going broke, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Were you
anyway, that
Were you able to rewrite
Pardon me?
that one when we did it?
Well, I had another one then when I was older, when I graduated from nursing school and I got my first nursing job. I was so excited, you know, that I got my first job, and I was going to be making $8 an hour or whatever it was, you know. I think it was about $8, and I was living at home at the time, and I came home from, you know, the interview, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be making this, you know, $8 an hour, and I'm so excited, and blah, blah, blah. And my mother looked at me and she said, that's a sin.
That's a what?
I can't, a sin
Oh,
that I'm going to be
wow.
making $8 an hour. She said, I can't believe you're making going to be making $8 an hour, and I have a master's degree, and I'm only making six, whatever she was making. And it just crushed me when she said that to me. And it just made me, which I realize now, the rest of my years, I always felt ashamed and guilty, and like I needed to stay small because I didn't ever want to make anybody feel like I was better than them or anything like that because of what she said to me. And so anyway, so this is just almost comical because I don't know where this is coming from, but the future, I saw myself standing up on a stage and signing books.
Yes.
I don't know what that came from, but I saw myself standing up on a stage and signing books. And I have been told a few times in the past that I have, the energy in my energy field to write a book, and I've always wanted to,
Yeah.
like a self-help or something like that. And but I so that's what popped up for me. So I don't know why, because I just
That's huge.
I'll just know that the image is there, but whether it would ever transpire or not.
Well, feeling into the
That's what-
energy of that. I knew from a very young age that I was going to write a book. I really didn't understand what that book was going to be about. I thought it was going to be some sort of cowboy and Indians or bank robbers or something. But when I got to, and in fact, once I injured myself, I literally tried to write my book many times because I thought it was going to be about my injury and all the strife that happened with that when I dislocated my pelvis in 2000. But as it turns out, it ended up being a spiritual how-to book. So just being open, Cynthia, with no expectations, no limitations, being okay with the outcome. This or something better, right? Like you never know what your little notes that you write down here or there may unfold to be, right? So I love that. I saw myself.
Well, I also can't. Oh,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know for a fact that I'm a much better writer than I am a public speaker. I get so flustered when I'm going to talk, like here, and I'm sure it's, thanks for being patient with me. But anyway, yeah, I love to write. And so anyway, but the two guides that I came through for me, I'm thinking it was from a show Bewitched that used to be on years ago with
the genie,
Sam and Darren and whatever. I think at the beginning of the show I think there was a little fairy, that wrote the words Bewitched, I think. I can't honestly remember, but that fairy showed up for me initially, and then also Mother Teresa, her face.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I am really hopeful that you were able to rewrite the energy of one of those two incidents, because that's the power of this whole process, right? Was moving forward and being able to shift it so that those words weren't said or whatever happened as well, right? I'm just stunned that a bank would actually say that to a child on the phone.
It actually happened, because I'll never forget the fear that I had when I hung up and I called my grandfather immediately, and I said, the bank just called and they're going to come and take our car away. And I don't know where my dad was or my mom. I honestly can't remember, but he came out, and then there were just a whole series of things that transpired after that, and it was just not a good time at all. But
exactly.
Anyway,
well, Listen to the meditation again and use that meditation to work your way through those events, every single one of them if you like, because that will really help you to move forward through a lot of feelings and emotions around money. Okay. Thank you guys so much. Highly appreciate you all being here, and I will be, like I said, sending out a follow-up letter that talks about the membership and that, and I really do appreciate all that you've done, everything that you guys have done here, and part of being part of this with me. It's been a real incredible pleasure. Thank you for being my tribe. Love you guys.
Thank you. This was
Thank you.
amazing. So
Thank you.
appreciate you doing this.
You're welcome. Take care, guys.
Bye bye.
See you in January.
Yes.